My contact. I know Julie is about to walk through the door.
Okay.
It is 12 o'clock, and I'm calling the meeting to order. The Park Recreation Committee. And I guess we'll give it, I just understood there's another gentleman coming in, so we will wait on him before we do a roll call. But as of now, we already have a quorum,
You have a point.
so we
So
can
we could do one real quick if you like. We have, our Vincent, Peplik, and Wyatt.
Yep.
And here comes Linda.
Okay,
Vera, sorry. I don't know why I said that. My apologies. I know who you are. And you said Monday was parking?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, there's no parking out there.
Yes, I was busy, huh?
Yes.
do we want to start with the consent agenda?
We don't have anything for
Okay,
that
then.
right now.
Should we let this young man, before we do anything else, chat it up?
Right, so the idea, what we wanted to do, is move the farmer's market discussion earlier. I asked our city planner, who really hasn't been yet, but Creed,
Hi, nice to meet you, sir.
I asked him to be here because he's going to take over working with you, Jeff, and the team on finding out what it needs to do to bring one here. He's gonna look at our land use code. That's what he does. So I kind of wanted him to meet you.
Oh,
And I gave him your emails,
cool,
so that.
once again.
Yeah.
Just a minute ago.
And I figured while the discussion was happening, it would just give him some more context. And he'll go through your emails and then reach out to you.
All right,
Sound good?
I'm gonna turn my hearing aids up so I can get all of this.
Do you wanna?
Yeah, you want you to come on up and
Do
speak?
you wanna come up and sit and
Now?
Yes.
that way we
Okay.
can get you on the recording as well.
After this.
We're gonna move you first.
Do I sign in? My name's Jeff Land. I'm the committee trying to do it this time. And I was hoping to bring a farmer's market, crafts market, a little music, a little entertainment to the community hall area. I took some time, took some measurements, and did kind of a layout of how many booths, where they'd be located, that kind of stuff. If,
Yeah, is this a copy or would you like me to make a copy?
There you go.
Cause is it multiple pages?
Would this be inside or
So
outside?
I'm giving this right to him.
Yeah, did he say we?
all
make
the
a copy
booths
or-
and vending would be outside, the inside would be kind of a green room for
Yeah.
musicians,
Okay.
maybe, you know, emergency services,
I'm sorry, I missed that. You said some activities inside, some outside.
I'm asking if there's, I think he did the bulk of it is gonna be outside, there'll be no food or anything on the inside, it's just for your green
yeah,
room.
the inside is like the, you know, management control center.
So the whole inside the community center.
Yeah, the whole inside of the community center is, you know, for,
Staff, basically.
staff.
Administrative.
Yeah, and there's a restroom in there, isn't there?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, goodness, two of them, okay, so we can have over 1,000.
Yeah.
Show up. I've been, you know, talking it up and down the avenue, and the way I've been presenting it is that, you know, because it's small, if we can get a farmer to come down, it would be the farmer. So we don't have 2 or 3 people fighting for $50 in sales. If we have a food vendor come down, they would be the food vendor. So again, same thing.
So no competition, they would really get everything on them that particular day.
Yeah,
Would they alternate or would they just be designated
No,
for the whole
no,
duration of the day?
hopefully we'd have a different one,
Copy, but there you go.
but, you know, what can I tell you? The response I've been getting is that everybody thinks sounds like a good idea, and they certainly like to go, but, outside of, I don't know, I got like maybe 15 artisans, artists, craft people, and 6 or 7 bands, musicians that would like to participate. That's about it.
would you have an idea that you'd be selling, like, if you're gonna have a band and obviously people come by, they're gonna be selling, just the one vendor is gonna handle all the foods and things for people as far as,
Well, we were hoping to have like some snacks and some drinks, you know, maybe a coffee
so not like
kiosk.
food truck or anything like that?
What's that?
Not a food truck or anything like that?
Well, you know, if I can get a food truck to come on down, sure, we'll do a food truck. I was thinking to myself, you know, if I can't find anybody, if I can get a caterer to bring $100 worth of food down and sell it for $200, then, you know, maybe I'll do that.
I think you can get a food truck. I mean, you probably get a couple of food trucks. We were able to get them for our
Oh.
50th anniversary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just have to ask, but they'll probably tentatively do it, like see how it goes over a few times and before they say, yeah, we'll do it for the whole season.
Yeah,
So the idea maybe mix them up a
yeah.
Have a couple different
And-
options,
little bit.
yeah.
So that's where we are.
And may I ask you if, the biggest thing we always talk about are volunteers. Do you have people that are willing to be a part of your group already that want to volunteer to help out, to staff up to?
Well, I have posted it in 2 places online, Facebook, nobody's there. And neighbor, good neighbor, next door. Next door is very active. I've got 9 people, 10 people in the group. I let them know that I was gonna be here today and they all showed up.
And that's not just on you, that's typical of everything.
Yeah. So there was a woman from Newport, Sasha Crum, who did a couple of these in past life in Portland and some other places. And so she met with me, gave me some advice in terms of, you know, make sure there's good flow, don't have the booths all packed in, make sure people can get around them, make sure the booths have appropriate frontage. And so I took that into consideration when I drew out the plans. I would imagine that the back porch at the community center would be where the entertainment would take place, okay? And there's some 30 feet between, 45 feet between it and the steps that are back there. And the parking lot across the street, we have vendors there, and in the front and along the side. There is parking just up the street at, oh, I can't remember what the name of the lot is, but there's a lot right there on,
Yeah, up above.
yeah, just above it on the hill there.
May I ask, the type of vendors so far that you have that are interested?
Artists and, you know, painters, craftspeople.
So we really can't call it a farmer's market, because it's more of a craft fair kind of a thing.
So far I haven't been able to get any farmers interested. One guy,
Have you been to Salishan? Because those people may, if it's a different day, they may come out there as well. Or Lincoln City.
I'm sorry, who?
If you go to the people that are already at Lincoln City's
Oh,
farmer's
yeah.
market or Salishan, it's a different day, so they may come down, they want to be a part of it, because
Yeah,
people
sure.
really go to these not just for the crafts, but the veggies and everything.
Well, that is the reason, you know, so we don't have to drive all the way to Chester's just to buy some,
Mhm.
you know, cabbage or something.
You might wanna talk to some people in Newport too on Saturdays.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
went-
start back up, I think, next week or the week
something like
after.
that,
Yeah, I was trying to go down there. I hit the, Corvallis, Corvallis Farmers Market website, and they have a list of vendors. And I emailed all the farmers there and said, hey, there's something going on. Thursday, it turns out, is big prep day. I talked to 2 or 3 food trucks, and they all say the same thing, oh, Thursday, that's when we prep. There's a guy in town that does food delivery, a caterer that does, you know, meals right to the door, and I asked them, hey, it's a spot to, you know, get in front of the public, publicize yourself, and they said, wow, we'd love to, sounds great, we may stop down, but Thursdays when we do all our prep, so, so I'm having a little trick there.
What's the significance, I'm sorry? Thursdays, are those the days that you want to?
Yeah, we were given Thursdays from 3 to 7,
I see.
from June to September.
If I might, so one of the primary reasons that you guys were doing Thursdays is because you were originally considering doing this in the city park.
Uh-huh.
And we thought late evening Thursdays would be less impact on the boats.
Yeah.
If you change it to the community hall, you have a bit more flexibility, so you could pick another day.
Oh, okay.
Depending on, you know, what the count, but that was the main reason. Thursday was also picked as a potential because now there's not a lot of events during that time. But now it sounds like there's a lot of prep work during that time, so.
Well, you know, we'll work it out.
But you do have
I
some
think
flexibility.
Thursdays, you know, kind of great because it is like off-peak.
Well,
And,
in the summer, Thursdays are just as busy as any
Yeah.
other day.
Right.
It's, you know, the whole week is busy,
Yeah.
like from May till September for all the restaurants,
And
so.
she would know.
Yeah, it's Thursday's just as busy as any day, and that lot down there will be full that whole peak season.
oh,
Even on a Thursday, any day is gonna be, it's gonna be
okay,
busy.
well, good to
Yeah.
know.
The parking lot that he's
Yeah.
talking about, it'll be devoted to other activities.
It'll be just full of tourists,
Yeah.
you know, parking there to
Or-
walk the strip
Or
and,
storage, or
yeah,
rails,
it fills up completely.
food.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the 2 lots behind my house that aren't even paved and, you know, marked.
It gets a little less busy after tree line starts, right?
It's still been just that peak season, it's busy, the whole, you know, it's consistent. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's any day of the week during the summer that lot will be empty or light, it's packed.
Please remind us how frequent you're proposing this. I've forgotten if it's weekly, every other week, monthly,
Weekly.
weekly.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just a couple of suggestions from me as someone who does frequent the local farmer markets. What I go for as a local person, reason why I go to them is primarily to buy freshly baked bread or produce. By only having one farmer there, you're not giving somebody like me the opportunity to buy, somebody's got cherries and strawberries, somebody else has leeks and potatoes, you're not giving me a choice. And so, for instance, I go to Lincoln City Market all the time, almost every Sunday. And I kind of spread the wealth a little bit. I'll buy some from some farmer and some from another. If I go somewhere and there's only one choice, I'm probably apt to not ever go back again because I would just rather see more opportunities for the farmers and more opportunities to purchase. The other thing is the food trucks. I think if you have a food truck, I think by only having one, you're also limiting the appeal. If somebody sees maybe like 3 food trucks parked out in front of the community center, and they know that they've got their choice between, I don't know, fish and chips or burgers or, you know, something else, they're gonna be more apt to stop and peruse the whole thing. And, you know, I mean, if my choice is only one food truck, if it's fish and chips and I just had fish and chips the other day and I'm tired of fish and chips, I'm not gonna support that food truck that day. So just a couple of suggestions.
I would love to have as many farmers as they have in Newport. But you get 5 farmers down there and there's only 10 customers. I don't think that's
The
good for
farmers
them.
do quite well down in Newport.
If, you know, right now, nobody knows what's gonna happen because it hasn't happened yet. And, you know, for a farmer to load up a truck and bring a bunch of vegetables down and stand around all day and take it all home with them,
Absolutely agree.
You know, so my appeal to them was, hey, if you take the time to come out, any vegetable sales, you know, let's get the first one there, you know, let's get the first one off the ground, type of thing is what I'm shooting for. And what was the other thing? Oh, the food trucks, again, it was the same kind of thing. I would love to have 3 or 4 of them down there. I'd love to, you know, have the thing just crowded as all get out and actually have to rent porta potties to take care of the overflow. And one of the big questions from all of the vendors is, what's it gonna cost? And so we wanna try to get some kind of a handle on that. And there is a YouTube channel called Discovering Depoe Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them if they would like to come down there and film. Here's some content going on in Depoe Bay. Would you like to, you know, put it on your channel? And they asked me for my nonprofit tax ID number. Do we have any idea who these people are? Is it?
It's not us.
No.
It's just a person.
Yeah, it's just one person
Oh.
and usually they'll, like, if something's going on, they'll highlight it.
They'll pick it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
So
okay.
you necessarily don't need to enter in any kind of relationship or agreement with them.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I
yeah.
was just wanting them to know, hey, you know, this
Well,
is gonna be
sure.
happening.
And Zoe's right, they will see
Yeah, and if
it.
if it's established and, you know, they'll definitely highlight it.
Okay, well, that's good. So I guess, my only question is, what are my costs? Who do I have to go talk to? Should I talk to the fire department and find out how many people can I have loitering around this area with only 2 bathrooms available?
That's what the type of stuff that Grady will kind of help you with, once he finds out whether or not doing such an event fits within our code and our ability to handle that. We do have numbers on how many capacity can be in the community hall. Don't think we have any numbers for the parking lot, so, but we might, on the check car sheet, who has all the information. You know, if you guys, how you form it, for instance, you're gonna be selling.
Mhm.
So you might actually form yourselves a group and get a business license, because you will need one. Each individual person would need one, or you'll need one as an organization, so. But that, between me and Creed, we can help you with that, but he's gonna get started. First thing he has to do is make sure that putting such an event in the community hall in that area fits all of our code requirements, and that would be around parking and all that stuff, so.
And then,
Once he does that, we can move forward with the
Oh,
other.
okay.
and then coordinating with the fire department will definitely be a box to check.
So once all that's done, then he can definitely, we can move to the rest of the stuff. It's not gonna be that challenging, but getting it through the hoop of the code is gonna be more challenging and see
One
what
of
the
the
things
things I
there.
was hoping to do was to get the local, the last time we talked about this, my neighbor was here and he said, you don't wanna piss off the local vendors, you don't want to, you know, have them look at this as stealing their sales, okay? And so I was, what I thought would be really great would be to get, you know, like two food organizations from right in town here to do 1 week and then another 2 another week, and to rotate to different restaurants in town, bring their fare to the Sticks down at the far end of town, said they would be interested in finding out more, if they could.
You'll get some people like that, like you said, the Sticks that aren't that busy, but you get someone like the Horn, they're not gonna move
They're not.
anything.
Yeah, that's the owner had talked to me a little bit about it after you reached out, and it's just something that, during that peak season, we're so busy that there's no time or manpower or
Yeah.
anything to focus on anything outside of just regular operations, because it is just, it's so busy. And we're already, I mean, most of the restaurants in town are all understaffed anyway.
Good for
So,
us.
Yeah, it's hard because it's, it's just too busy.
Yeah.
When were you hoping to start up again?
Start up June.
June.
Yeah, that's what all of my, I don't know, whatever you wanna call them, ticklers, teasers, informational postings have, had on the number.
I realize this is intended as a community event. Would we want to solicit if local restaurants are just too slammed that time of year? Would we want to solicit somebody from out of town that might be interested on occasion, or would we want to keep it as local as possible?
I see it as, coming from working at one of the local businesses and managing it, is I've heard from a lot of the people that are in Salishan in the market there, when that weekly market comes in, it drastically decreases their sales. That people go to the market and then they don't go over into the shop. So I've heard a lot of people complain that the market's over there because it takes all their business away during that day.
Now, the scale of this might not.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Yeah, to begin
that
with,
risky.
for sure.
But would there be any opposition to having someone from Lincoln City or Newport?
No, Lincoln City would be
On
the same.
occasion,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
be the food guy.
I think you're gonna get them to do the numbers themselves and realize it's probably not gonna worth their time.
I don't think we're gonna have enough, okay, so I didn't get the impression you were just gonna make this supplied by Depoe Bay community. I don't think you're gonna need
No.
enough tractors, and a lot of these people that wanna help produce this are not from Depoe Bay, they're from Lincoln City.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should limit it to only
So
Depoe Bay.
it's for the
tractors.
community, not necessarily completely of.
Right.
Right,
Right, I understand.
I was gonna say, you would have to pull people from Newport.
Sure.
if they wanna come,
I imagine some of your artisans are not from local.
when I do mine
Not
in
from
December, they're not all local.
And the bands, there was one woman that responded, she represented 6 or 7 different musical groups. I think they just changed the set list and the instruments they played depending upon the name they're using. I was hoping to create a little activity to give people a reason to stay a little longer in town. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I go out to get something to eat and a lot of it's rolled up. But
Well, not, like Zoe mentioned, during that peak, nothing,
Yeah.
that's the only time people is actually awake,
Yeah, it's definitely, it's,
till
we
9,
like to
10 o'clock at
say
night.
Depot Bay's awake as long as the sun's up. In the
Right.
summer, the sun's out till later, so
Exactly.
we're busy till
Yeah,
the
10
end of the
o'clock.
day. And
Yeah.
in winter, when it's dark at 4:30, yeah, we're shuttered.
Yeah.
But
Like most little towns.
yeah, I think that maybe trying to generate who are you focusing this towards? Like, is it just locals or is it people that are coming here as tourists? Because if it's tourists, I don't know if people who are staying in a hotel are gonna wanna buy fresh produce. That's something that they're not gonna, wanna buy because they're
Right.
staying in a hotel. That's gonna be geared more towards the locals who want it because they live here.
I think it's both.
I was
Don't
gonna
you?
say, I think the arts has been out of town.
As a community member, I will go look at the crafts, but I'm maybe gonna go for the produce if there's some produce.
If I'm staying in a place with a hotel and with a fridge, that's one thing, but if you're not, a lot of the times,
Right, but
Yeah.
if you're a tourist and you wanna go see what the city has to offer and you hear about a craft fair,
Mhm.
you're
Yeah,
right, you're
absolutely,
not gonna go buy
craft
food, you're
And
gonna
live-
go
live
see the
music.
crafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or hear the music
Exactly.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
How are you going to, or is it all volunteerism with the music? Are they gonna be looking to get paid, or is it all volunteer on their part?
Well, the first one is, I don't have any money for it unless you guys are gonna come up with some. There's, the first one is just kind of like, can we do this? Would you like to be a part of a unique event? And, just trying to make it a personality sale, for the first one. And then if we get a crowd, if goes over good, then, you know, okay, let's see.
A
if we
lot of
can-
times what they do is, if you guys have seen this as well, is we'll pay them nothing, but they bring their own CDs or DVDs, whatever they have.
Oh, yeah.
They sell their own wares, now what is it, MP3, whatever they can have, and then people buy them.
Yeah.
And that's done really well, they did that, that's how they started the cultural center, now it's to the point where people sit down, they pay the whole bet.
Mhm.
But, no, just to have the talent would be great, I'm sure Todd will be there playing.
Yeah, we got good response for people that wanted to do the musical things,
Oh, sure.
a couple of spoken words. Oh, I contacted the Office of Emergency Management, and they're gonna come down and do a presentation a couple times. And they gave me the contact for Lincoln City Office of Emergency Management. And if there's any kind of news or hot goss, I guess, from the city hall that they wanna have a forum to.
Even just
I'm sure you guys wanna get up and any questions, community is not what you're about, but that would be a place you could.
If the goal is to cater to the community of Depoe, what I recommend is to get in touch with 2 or 3 farmers. That could be the permanent features of the farmers market. And then everything else is rotating, like one rotating artisan, so not having the same crafts every week. One rotating band, one rotating public service agency, one rotating caterer, so it's gonna keep it interesting, but also functional, because the main goal is to have access to produce.
Yeah.
Also, the question is, maybe it's a good idea to already set up a meeting, maybe in April, so to get more of that community that you are talking to online, on those on Facebook and Nextdoor neighbors, to meet in person, and would you?
Try it all the time.
Okay, maybe in April, what do you think about a date, and also put maybe something on the board in the post office for that? I can help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll make up some flyers.
yeah. So, do you think, Kimberly, that we should do that after you resolve the issues related to the business license, or?
Well, I just think at least making sure that we can
Cool.
hold session
Yeah,
at
that's
the
what I mean.
community hall is the first step.
Okay.
check the zoning.
Because it's a big,
Check code.
if it is successful, and of course we want it to be successful, it could drive a lot of, it could produce a lot of impact. I'm not talking about the businesses downtown, I'm talking about the harbor and the parking and the capacity, so we really need to, that's what he's gonna look at.
Okay.
And once you have that, then I think you can move to the next steps.
Yeah.
Of what that would take to put something like that into place.
Is there, wouldn't that be also, city services, when that happens, from maintenance to trash to everything else? You're part of your guys, or would it
During the summer, our guys are constantly emptying trash, so.
Okay.
This won't provide that in detail.
be, okay.
I have a question. Has there ever been a farmer's market in Depot Bay?
I understand there has never been.
I live here, I'm living here 3 years now.
And I haven't lived here as long, but I have recourse to 20 to 30 years of information and I
I've
understand.
lived here, well, I've been here 25 years now.
I was told there's never been.
So I'm just
Oh
curious.
my God, so we are starting from ground zero.
Ground zero.
All right,
So there's a big unknown out there.
we'll find out.
Actually, the
And
company-
once again, I want to apologize to all of you for poking this bear. I hope you're having as much fun as I am doing this right now. It's just,
You know, if we don't poke the bear, we don't do anything. I'm serious about that, so.
okay,
Well, and I think that maybe, you know, we got a month, they can come, they work together, we can come back with a plan, an idea by the April. God, I can't believe we're going into April.
Yeah.
April 16th, I think I just put that down here. April, no, 19th, no, wrong month, April 16th. So he could give you, they could come back and let you know where we're at and see what we're touching on.
Do an update?
Are these noon meetings generally?
Yes.
Okay, good.
okay.
April 15th, when we're gonna do something.
15.
16.
16.
So I think it's just the next
Sorry,
The
meeting.
the next Parks Commission meeting.
Okay.
I will be,
Right.
Great.
Then I'll have some information for you,
okay,
and I may be in touch between now and then.
oh, yeah, sure, there
I'll get you-
should be
I gave him
my
all
I'll
your
get your contact
information.
information.
contact info.
I think I'll give him Kevin's information too,
Kevin,
or has he kind of stepped away?
he stepped away because, the last meeting, all of his information said it started at 12 and it started at 11.
Oh, we did that one time, we changed.
I know.
I'll
and
talk to Kevin.
He got, he didn't wanna get involved in politics, he said, and
I'll talk to
stepped
Kevin,
away, and
yeah, he's one of my crafters, I'll talk to him.
I didn't want to, start chasing.
Yep.
I'll chase him.
Missing. Seems like a nice enough guy, I hope he participates. His idea was to have everybody inside the building and have all of the parking used for parking.
Yes.
I think if he saw what you were doing, I would like it.
Okay, yeah, that's, it's a little tough talk.
I mean, where are folks gonna park? Are they gonna be, I mean, I hear there's some parking.
Across the street.
The parking
Well,
should
that's-
not,
yeah,
the
I'll
parking
have to
still
park
in
in
the
the-
trout, they'll park
They'll
in,
park along the street.
Sea Trout, they'll park across the street, Sea Trout, they'll park on the, Chinook parking lot, they'll park in Coho, they'll park in Rockfish, they'll park wherever they can find parking.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Any other questions, guys?
No, so the idea is after our next meeting, we're gonna try to have a group meeting with potential volunteers.
Oh my God, am I gonna get on the agenda?
I will put you on, you were on the agenda, I don't know what version, I
You're
don't know where
number
that,
one.
listen, I don't know where that version there came from, but that's not what I sent to my team, so.
Okay, well.
So I don't know, I'm gonna ask her where
Nail
this
it
came
wrong.
from.
Look at me.
I love that.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay,
You guys will all connect and then we'll have more information for the next meeting.
okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
I'll let that out.
thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Nice to meet you all.
Good meeting,
Nice to meet
Bree.
you.
Let me know if there's any other time, another topic you'd like me to sit in, and of
Perfect.
course I'll do it.
Excellent, thank you.
Nice to meet you all. Very, very nice to meet
We
you.
done?
We'll be in
All
touch.
done,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Thank you, it didn't hurt much at all.
Okay, now for the fun stuff, we're gonna go to, onto unfinished business for the crab feed. Any updates that we need to know about? Can we talk about mallets?
Why don't you come on up to the speaker? I'll come up.
Illustrious mayor, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I have to apologize. I have not been feeling real good, and so I've been struggling for the last month or so.
I'm sorry.
Some, I don't know if it's long-term COVID but I have vertigo really bad.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I can only do so much and then I just have to stop. And
So,
I've done absolutely nothing since our last meeting. I haven't gotten a broker yet. So I'm just wondering if we wanna even go forward with this.
Let me I wanna make one statement that you guys need to be very well aware of. If we don't do this, it's entirely up to you, it's entirely up to Mayor Short if she wants to run it. We will not look good as a
It's
city,
too late now.
because we fought to take it. We reached out to Zoe reached out to all these volunteers, got everybody excited.
I just
If
feel,
we drop it, we won't ever be able to do anything like this again. So just keep that in mind when you guys are deciding what you wanna do.
no
Do what
pressure.
you need to, no pressure,
I will
no
say,
pressure, but that's
our-
the reality.
our first meeting of this year, I said
We
we
did.
should push it off till next
Yeah,
year,
we
because
did.
I thought it was too much to get into
Yeah.
before April, so.
I'm not going to, I'm not speaking for anybody else except for me. If the mayor is feeling this way, I will do whatever the group wants to do. But I'm not worried about not looking good or pushing it on the agenda again, because if next year all of a sudden we have 50 people that wanna do it, it's gonna happen again. And I'm not gonna do just to have pressure, and do it poorly and look even worse than not having it.
Exactly, that's
Yes.
that's my whole thing right now.
And that's fine, and you may not worry about looking bad, but I do. Because
I
of
just
all
Are
the
you worried about
negativity,
looking bad to the public or to the council or who?
Well, first of all, the council, the ones who really didn't want us to do that, will have,
But they're naysayers all the time about.
but I'm also more worried about the public.
Well, I think
All of your people that you got excited and all the people that have attended.
Well, I think if we tell the volunteers that we have that were consistently showing up, I think we'll, if we say that we're not putting this down completely, if we're just, things are moving too fast and we wanna do this right,
Obstacles.
I would like you guys to craft the message and for the
Oh, yeah,
message to
well-
come from the Parks and Recreation
Yeah.
Commission, not the city.
Yeah, it will be like
That's a-
the email
I think
that,
that's a great one.
And it's a,
that I've sent, and we haven't posted anything, I've, waited on putting the event up on Facebook, there hasn't been, besides with the volunteers who, wanna put this on, we haven't been pushing this out to the public to where I don't think it would be as much of a shock that, oh, it's not gonna happen this year, but I think if we say, we wanna do this right, we're, ran into some hiccups along the way, April came along really quick, we still, and correct me if I'm wrong, with the approval that we received from council, that wasn't a 1-year approval,
No,
that's an extended approval.
They could pull it though, but they
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah, exactly, so it's not it was a one and done,
Right.
we only had one shot and we blew it, we still had our success of getting
Mhm.
approval from the council, that's a win, either
And
way,
the volunteers,
and we
that's what I
have the
feel bad about.
volunteers, but I think that,
we'll do it again.
the volunteers, if they're upset about it and don't wanna do it again, then what can you do? But if they really do care about it and want to see it happen in the future, which I think that they do,
Mhm.
then I don't think that we'll, we'll
Sounds
lose
like
that.
she's volunteering to craft the message.
Kenny,
Who's been sending all the messages anyways?
I know, I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah,
let's all look at it first now.
yeah, I'll send it as a,
Kenny?
I agree with what she's saying. We've gotta keep as much as we can the city out of it. I mean, I don't know how to say that properly. Because we don't want any bad vibes on the city.
I don't wanna be thought of as the.
Yeah, no blowback on the city.
No,
We'll
no,
say-
I don't wanna be thought of as the chamber.
Right, no,
Yeah.
The city to be thought of as the
right,
chamber.
no, we'll say it was on, like you said,
That's
hiccups
too many
along the way,
uncertainties.
we wanna take,
I agree.
if we take more time, it's gonna be that way, we really will have a pool of volunteers and many more people involved.
I agree with that. I mean, because if we're gonna do it, we want it just full force.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we can't go full force.
In a month.
Exactly, and.
Yeah. But it has been, you guys have been talking about this.
Mhm.
And it's been on the calendar and talked about the last 2 or 3 meetings.
Yep.
So it's not happening in a month. Okay, I just want to remind everybody that everybody wanted to do it, and wanted to take all the responsibility of doing
They
it.
didn't want to.
And what is
Kim, I
this
did.
year going to
Kim,
do?
I wanted to do it.
I understand that, Kathy, but you have their
But I
support.
talked all these good folks into following me, and now I'm letting everybody down. I feel horrible.
Well, no, I think you should feel we're not letting
You're not
anybody
letting
down.
us down.
No, I think the message just needs to be very carefully
Yeah.
crafted.
And we did
And I
see
think
this all
it should
along.
come from the Parks Commission.
There's nothing to do from you, from
Yeah.
you.
And
In
it
terms
will,
of
and
messaging, my suggestion then, we should, how I want to spin that, my suggestion is, let's not talk about the cancellation, but more like of a change of plans.
Yeah,
Our focus
postpone.
now, we should, we think that as a group, we should focus this group on the summer break in, after the summer. That's
Yeah.
what,
And
that's my
nobody
suggestion.
needs to know what's going on in that,
No,
nobody
of course
needs to know
not.
that.
I think it's gonna be, I think phrasing it not as a, we're canceling it, that it never even happened, it's we're focusing on planning for the following year.
It's all about your
You
messaging
know.
and you're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
But I think that we should inform that group that not we are canceling the crab feed. No, we are we want to use that group to focus on the summer break October, right? What do you think?
We're
That's,
not doing the
we're
salmon.
No,
not,
not
we're
the same.
not doing that this year.
Why not?
I mean, see where the crowd feed got us.
Well, but we have more time.
Who's gonna run the salmon bay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Kathy
think,
can't do
I
it.
think we should should focus on,
Exactly.
you know, putting our efforts into planning for the next season's crab feed, for crab feed 2026. And, you know, if we start things more now, then we'll have, you know, I think this, I mean, I had said at the January meeting,
Yes.
I said that April was coming way too fast and that there was already too much to do and that we should hold off. And I was talked away from that by everybody. So, well, it wasn't just you, it was everybody, cause I expressed my hesitation to take it on this year because I didn't want to get too much involved with myself, cause I knew my limitations on what I'd be able to put in.
Yeah.
And so I think if we just express that, you know, it's unfortunate, but we are not moving forward with planning for this year, but that is not stopping us from moving forward with planning for the next year, that is our goal, is to
And
have
you
it
wanna
happen
make sure,
next
like
year.
Robert said, you guys wanna do it right.
Mhm.
You wanna
Absolutely.
do it, you
Yeah,
wanna do
absolutely.
it right.
Yeah,
and
we
you
could
know
go ahead and
time.
do it this year and it
Yeah.
could be a failure and that could disappoint people more than, you know, putting it off into another year.
And I've been
One
reading
more.
about the shortages of crab,
Mhm.
and we still don't know on.
You can
pricing.
mention that.
Yeah,
Yeah, prices.
That's exactly what I was
You
thinking.
know, and I haven't been able to find a broker.
Yeah.
So
We need
the
more time.
uncertainty
Yeah.
of the crab availability is one
Perfect.
of my.
Blame it on the windmills.
Cancellation, let's not use that word, it's just a delay.
yeah, exactly, it's not
Yeah.
cancellation, it's not,
Perfect.
we're not saying goodbye, we're not closing the book on it, we're just, you know, putting it off until the next year's can do it
Bigger,
right,
better
and not
next
even
year.
putting it off, is we're continuing our efforts of
Yes.
planning
We wanna do it
now,
right.
but for next year.
Right, you wanna do
simple.
it
Yeah,
right.
so we're not pausing it, nothing, it's just, we're waiting till
2026.
next year.
One more thing, I did hear through fairly good that crabbing's pretty slow right now.
I've seen it posted, it's bad.
And so, I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we can get out of this without having a red face. And my deal is, if we're gonna do it, I'm all for it, I mean, I'm a retired guy that knows zero, I have a size 2 hat and a 44 shirt. But we want this to be a perfect one. We
Right,
don't wanna
it's
screw around.
success.
Well, as perfect as a group of flawed humans can make it.
I know, exactly, you know.
You
what I'm
speak
saying.
for yourself.
Yeah, I do wanna say one thing though, we need to refund Claire Grant for any money she has spent to get the OLCC license, which was approved last night. I know she spent at least $11.50 for the city, but there are OLCC charges, so I think we need to reimburse for those. And I don't know, Zoe, have you spent any money on this that can't be used for next year? Okay.
No.
Okay. And you know, the other thing is that it will also allow during the budget discussions
Right.
for that to actually be a budget line item versus a throw in at the last minute type situation, so it's all good, Ken.
Yeah, for 2026 budget, this isn't about you.
Yeah, please don't.
This is honestly, indirectly, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody else, a relief because regardless
Oh,
of,
I know it's a relief, not
Yeah.
indirectly,
you
it's a
know,
relief.
even January to now,
Yeah.
not a lot of time.
Yeah.
We discussed this
Yeah.
and, again, make it that much better for next year.
Well, I'm pretty upset because I didn't get to make any mallets.
You know what? Ken, you've got a year
Well,
to,
you
you
can still make
have a
them.
year to make 100
I
dollars.
tell you what, I'll bring the burner over and I'll just give it to you.
There you go. You can still make them.
Well, I think what we should do for moving forward with it is every,
Good idea.
you know, every meeting, keep the crab feed on the agenda.
Yeah.
Is keep it on the agenda,
Yeah.
keep talking about it, have a plan for what we should do, you know. Even maybe at the next meeting, we should draft a month by month plan of what we want to get done, of, you
Great
know,
idea.
for May, what should we do during May to make, you know, having the crab feed next April happen? In June, what should we do? What is
Great
our
idea.
list of things we should do to get going, to where by next time this year, we're
Right.
not feeling like
Right.
this.
And the community can see you really want to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I
exactly.
think it's May mallet month for Kenny.
May have
That'll be on the, put that on the agenda for next time.
May, Gina, do you have that? May mallet mugs.
For Kenny. Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, don't,
Kathy, don't apologize, you're fine.
I'm probably gonna send you some flowers.
You're plenty busy
Yeah.
as it is.
Yeah.
And you know I need you hail and hearty. I'm not gonna get you that.
I just want you to feel better.
I'm trying.
She's been dealing with this for a long
I
time.
had to-
I'm amazed at the strength in this woman.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure if I was going with you, I'd be a basket case. Kathy is not a basket
No.
case. She's a strong woman.
Yeah, Mayor, I hope
Is
it's
that
better.
tribute to your parents? Were your parents strong and
Oh,
willing?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
All right, well, that aside, that's great.
I'm gonna run and check on my ladies with their,
Perfect, thank you, Mayor.
see you on Saturday. That's gonna be.
Remember the emergency, the be aware, are you
Yeah.
aware, be prepared event? It's gonna be
Okay.
good. It's not the
Oh,
same
you busy
stuff you're used
somewhere
to.
else?
I see that.
You have to come up with a letter, just kind of send it.
Yeah, I'll come up with a letter, I'll make a draft, and then I'll send
Any
it to
changes,
the,
let you go
Okay,
first.
so-
group.
Just to make sure though, provide input, but I don't want any motions
No,
or any
no,
approvals
just wanna look at
because that would be
something.
violating it, we're in public meetings law.
Yeah.
No,
So, in fact, if you have comments, send them to me, you know,
right,
but
you're spreading that.
I'll
I
just
have a
line
feeling
copy it.
she's going to do a beautiful job.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would just say.
Yeah, I'll craft something, I'll put it all, cause there's not just one reason, there's many reasons,
Absolutely.
and, I'll stress that this isn't, we're not closing the book on it, it's just, unfortunately, we're having to push it back, because we wanna do it right.
And I hope you guys understand, I do not want the city tarnished with the chamber.
Absolutely,
I agree.
totally.
Yeah, we don't wanna look like.
Well, I think even just being accountable and releasing a statement
Yes.
is,
Better than what's
already,
happened in the past.
yeah, that's already setting us
Exactly.
apart.
Right, it
Yeah.
would be to our credit instead of against the
Right,
city.
exactly.
To just say circumstances beyond our control, maybe list a few things that we haven't been able to overcome at this point, and that our plan is to actively continue working toward a
Yeah.
really great event next
That's
year. We
And-
could even give them a date for next year.
And I think
That's a
it
great
helps
point.
for the council members that aren't really supportive of this,
Mhm.
just get that kind of message that it shows your commitment.
Right.
That you're not just gonna be like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's important, and I know it's only a couple council members, but they have loud
Yeah.
voices.
yeah,
And if they wanna, rescind their,
They
Their
won't
approval?
have it, they won't have the
Yeah.
power to do it.
You know, the big deal, our big out, and if we don't need one, but I'm just saying, because we wanna do this right, is the pricing of this.
Yes.
yeah, we wanna make it affordable to the community,
And that's a big
resourcing
word.
everything has been difficult.
You know the
It's
words.
just
Yeah.
not the
We
year.
can have everything in the world all
Right.
together, but if we don't know what
I just want you guys to look good, I want the
Yeah.
city to say, look, I just want everybody to look good.
Yeah, and I'll express too how, the Parks Department might have got swept up a little bit in the excitement of wanting to put this on, but in that time, it just wasn't enough to do it right. And we'll keep that excitement going on in the year
Exactly.
going forward,
Yeah,
because
and,
that's why we
yeah.
wanna do it, is because we're excited about it.
perfect.
Awesome, Zoe.
All right,
I
we can
think
move
that
on.
will help a lot in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Let's move on to movies, it looks like. Movies in the park or movies in the community center?
That's the right.
Who knows? So here we are, March. I have no idea what we're doing, if we're going forward in what direction. Are we
We
still?
were waiting on to see if you were gonna sell your business.
Yeah, Loretta, it was all about you selling your business because you said. the
Selling
person
my
who-
business has nothing to do
You
with
said
Parks and Recreation Committee.
You said the person that was gonna take the business would not be a resource for the movies.
Right,
Did you guys not hear that?
absolutely.
So we would have to source the movies ourselves, which we can do.
You would have always had to have sourced the movies yourself unless they came from Warner Brothers.
And
A
that's,
very
guys,
select
help me out
group.
here. That was what everybody
You know
decided
what,
to do, correct?
I'm gonna just say this is canceled, because this is getting to be, it's not worth it.
I mean, my team still wants to get the TV.
Well, that's what we talked about.
Yeah, but that wasn't just, that was
Sorry,
No,
not
no.
the movies. Not about the TV, it was,
No.
that was an idea of maybe being a place to run movies.
No, we talked about this was at the very beginning, it was,
Let's start from there.
Excuse me, so I wanna bring up another point, and that's that at one of the meetings, you brought up that this was my idea. This was never my idea. You and Valerie approached me about it last summer. I still have the text message from you
I don't remember.
saying that this was being discussed And that's when I
would like to
said,
see that. I
I'll
remember
come,
that.
that's when I said, hey, maybe I wanna be on the Parks and Rec Committee.
I remember
And
that.
from the beginning, it was always iffy if we could go forward with Warner Brothers. I even came back to a meeting and said, I've now found out that the only way we can do this through Warner Brothers is if A, I'm still working with the same booker, I've actually got a different booker now. And what he said to me, and I told you guys this, is that he said, if you can, just go ahead and book them through your business. And if anybody finds out at Warner Brothers and objects to that, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So that was never a done deal. And continuing to bring up whether or not I sell my private business, throwing that into a mix with the City of Depoe Bay and the Parks and Recreation Committee, I believe is completely off base. That's my business, whether I sell it or I don't sell it.
I don't disagree, but I also know my notes, and I can go dig them out, says that we would have to source and pay from our own, which is fine, but when we had you at the movie theater, it was a side benefit that you would be able to easily get us movies. We went so far as to make movies.
I can
out
still
for
easily
Christmas.
get you movies.
But one of these meetings, and I have listened to the recording, said, the person that's gonna take over wasn't going to be interested in being that resource. Did I get that wrong, guys?
No, I remember that.
What I said was she chuckled.
Okay, you're right.
She has never told me yes, she has never told me no. However, as this process goes on further and further, if I sell my business, I would like to distance myself from that business.
Well, sure.
So regardless
I was gonna say.
of whether or not she wanted to continue, and the other thing is, it always would have been risky.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm talking to a single booker at Warner Brothers who I have had a personal relationship with and a business relationship for a number of years. He was willing to kind of look away, but it was never gonna go on forever anyway. We can book movies through Swank just like any other parks program does in the country.
Not arguing that at all.
So, my question is, do you have a projector?
I've got a projector sitting in my theater that I've said all along
So
I was
let's
willing
focus
to
on that,
donate.
on having the projector installed to the community center, as well as the screen, and then.
Well, there's also
cross the
the
bridge.
issue of the screen. Do they wanna hang the screen, or what's this whole TV idea?
Our
Does
last-
that eliminate the screen?
Yeah, our last meeting when Brady was here, he had said that it made more sense to have the largest big, TV screen and the DVDs or whatever else they were saying.
Say that the last meeting, I don't remember that.
For the last meeting he was at, it was the new guy.
Oh, that's right.
Dave Martin, that was
Yeah.
at the April, or January 8th meeting, when she was,
Right.
I had the minutes here.
I think the last time we talked about movies, I just looked through my notes, was in November 20th, and my note said screen hanging, ? Start in spring, revisit in March, and then it says screen hanging plus Loretta's contact.
Yeah, so we
Right.
talked about it in January, because it's right here in the minutes. Vera asked if there was an update regarding the movies at the community hall, and I said that at the last meeting, she told the commission that the person she asked to help install the movie screen will not be in the area until March. She said that as soon as he is back in the area, she will meet with him and determine if the donated screen can be hung. And then that's when Dave suggested the big screen. Discussion followed about the differences between a projector and a large screen TV, and about other places in the area that feature space for viewing events. Chair Vincent tabled the discussion for now. That's where we were. That was the last thing we had.
So, just to be clear, if a large screen TV gets hung in the community hall and DVDs are played from a DVD player onto that screen, you still have to pay licensing for the movie.
Yeah,
You
if
don't
we
just-
put on an event
Yeah.
for it,
So
that wasn't
basically,
just a
we're willing to
private.
pay
If we
to have
charge-
this experience and have
Right,
fun.
if
Tell me
you,
if you charge.
if you rent the community hall for, say, your grandma's birthday and you wanna play her favorite movie there and it's a
Yeah.
private party, you don't have to pay licensing.
Just if we were to put on
If
a
something
movie in
is
the
on Netflix and that TV screen can access Netflix, that could be played in the background, you don't have to contact Netflix. But if you wanna play a movie and promote it to the public, whether you're charging admission or not, you have to pay a licensing fee. And a licensing fee for public screenings like that typically comes from SWAC, who I've worked with for years.
And you said there was two ways, one was if we were having it be a paid event, and one was having a free event, right? If it was a paid, it was a portion of ticket sales, and then if it was
Well,
like-
typically, although I don't think SWAC works this way, typically with a studio, you pay there's a fee versus, so licensing versus a percentage. So for instance, at my movie theater, I frequently have a $250 minimum and they want 55% of every ticket dollar sold. In an event like this, for a repertory film, so not first run movies, it would typically be around 35 to 45% versus their flat fee.
If we charge nothing, they just get the flat fee.
Yeah,
Exactly, and so if Swank wants to charge $200, $250, $300 for a screening of, I don't know, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, then that's what we pay them, whether we collect money for tickets or it's just open to the public. And it doesn't matter if it's community hall, it doesn't matter if it's at the park. So that's that.
There was a discussion back in October that, you were gonna hold off on your donation and you had a popcorn machine, which is always a good thing.
Right.
She would like, she suggested that the commission consider doing a holiday movie in December in the community hall. However, due to conflicts, she doesn't anticipate that any more movies will be shown after that. It doesn't say what the conflicts were, so I'm not sure what that meant on that. We'd have to.
I think we were talking about all kind of holiday events, even personal holiday parties, all of that. That's just typically a time of year when people are busy.
So it's entirely up to you guys what you wanna do. I know at one point you'd asked about the budget, we can do it. I told you that we could do it, but as far as the screen's concerned, the only thing, there seems to be a disconnect between what you and Paul were talking about. But you're more than welcome to reach out to Paul, not this week, he's on vacation, and see what you need. I mean,
Well, like I had said, what I wanna do is I wanna get my theater tech, who I believe is back in Oregon now, I would want to get him over here at the same time that Paul could meet us down there.
absolutely.
And we could map out exactly where the screen needs to be hung. But my understanding, at the meeting that the new guy was at, who talked about the big screen, was that it might be an either or situation at the community hall.
It's not any situation right now, you guys. I mean, I know what people have said they want a TV, but
What people is.
not you guys.
Is-
Well, no, somebody just said it was good, my staff wants a TV there.
Yeah, the community.
But I haven't said we're buying a TV, it's not the
Because I
budget.
think it's done.
I'm not sure that it's a real,
Pedestrian, you have bars that have TVs that can actually display, like in the Super Bowl, they had 2 bars in the city that were displaying Super Bowl,
Right.
they have large TVs. So we are here to provide a differentiated experience to the community.
well, just,
Not what something that the business in town or you own can provide.
well, just so you know, the city can make a decision for the TV in there whether or not the
Sure,
parks are
absolutely,
recreation.
don't
Right.
worry, but I think.
But I'm
it's
not
waste of
there
money
yet.
and,
I'd rather see an old fashioned projector and TV screen with a popcorn machine. Not TV screen,
It's part
screen
of the
screen.
law.
Well, you're not gonna see an old fashioned projector.
Well, you know what I mean.
I mean, I have one of those that I can donate donate for display
I
purposes.
think, something actually is on a projector,
Right. Yeah.
versus a TV screen, you can
Well,
watch it
I
anywhere.
think one of the pluses of a TV screen down there for the city would be then private events could, like the topic of TV series that people get into and they create little viewing clubs around.
Like, Yellowstone.
Yes, and stuff like that, that maybe some group would wanna, rent the community hall on a weekly basis to have their little,
It's so much better to watch a projector. I think that is.
For movies.
For a movie?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I watch,
Yeah.
we have both at home. We have a projector and the remote projector.
For one of the things that we're talking about is we have a lot of events, the emergency preparedness committee, there's a lot of doing events in there. And right now, they have people coming to do presentations.
Yeah.
We're not really set up for that.
No.
And they're running a big screen and all this stuff, we don't really have that, so I'm gonna have somebody investigate what it would look like to give us an actual audiovisual system. That doesn't preclude doing a screen with a TV, with a projector and all that stuff.
One
Because
thing,
movies on a
Right.
screen is so much
one
fun.
just takes it takes more manpower, whether it's one man or other people, whereas the other one doesn't. It's already hung up there,
I know.
and you
Somebody
can,
would need to run the screen, the projector, obviously.
But in a projector,
Well-
you have to have more dim lights versus if you're just a TV, you can watch with lights on.
Yeah, and I think our lights dim now. And that was curtains, so we would get rolling on.
Are there curtains up on the hydrants on the side yet?
On the back wall?
No, on the back wall, I know there's curtains, but the row of windows that are up above the bench,
No.
okay, because really all
That would be
for movies,
problematic
so,
too,
yeah,
yeah.
including the door would have to, because those are glass doors. So,
That would be a lot of things to talk about, how we wanna retrofit the.
well, that's what Paul was saying, it's a lot more money to have to do that for a screen as opposed to just putting up a TV.
Well, I think if we do the movies, I think doing the movies in the park would be more of a draw to
Right.
people than just going and watching a movie in the community
Right.
center. Because
You
if
could
you
do
go
both.
watch a movie in the community center, it's like, it doesn't have as much of an appeal, it's like going outside and
That's
being
true.
in
And
nature.
those chairs suck, I would have to get new chairs.
Yeah.
I would not wanna sit and watch a movie in those chairs. Now, I did, when we originally talked about, because the idea originally was the park, I mean, right, am I correct?
Mm-hmm,
yes,
Ray, that was the original idea was to do in the park. Do you know they have inflatable screens?
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, we've talked
and they're
about
very
this.
inexpensive,
Inflatable what?
screens,
You can rent them,
Yeah,
buy them for $250.
yeah, I think that'd be
I was
very
surprised
good to
that
do
was
something
Yeah.
in the
But
park.
that's, what you guys wanna do is up to you.
I think summertime and nice days, I think outside is great for projector, and then inside, I'm more of the mindset of just especially when the city and the staff, all the presentations, preparedness, different things, it's easier with the TV screen DVDs.
The focus is to stay on track of what we had decided and have Loretta's guy meet, the technician of the city to see the viability of installing the equipment there. Can we agree on that we're not gonna change course for no reason? Because that was a compromise, that the month of March arrived, and the care guy would be available, and he is, to meet, and can we just do that? Stay on track.
You guys can do whatever you want.
Oh, that's a yes or no, because no.
Right, Ellie's right, you guys need a,
I mean,
Yes,
Todd
that's the
suggested,
question.
we drop the whole thing. I mean, Todd suggested we drop the whole
I
thing.
agree with that.
So there's a motion there too.
no motion.
Okay, then the motion is, let's stay with what we agreed some months ago, yes or no?
Okay, so you made a motion, so he made a motion, he's in the second,
What's the motion?
just to stay with having Loretta's, and would come and take a look, and correct me if I'm wrong, come and take a look at the setup and see if it can handle the projector and the screen and where it would go.
It's just an assessment, it's not
It's
like
just an
installation,
assessment.
right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I
It's just an assessment, I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Was that ever on the table that we didn't want him to just go assess it?
No, but I think that because there's a lot of debate about this right now, about the TV versus the screen, I think what Ellie's trying to do is get everybody on the same page to say, let's at least do this and then take it from there, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm
made a
okay with it.
motion,
I'm okay
you
with
need a
it.
second, okay,
I'm okay with an assessment, as long as there's nothing further beyond that, we all decide what we're gonna do, and as well get the city involved.
I don't know how much I want the city involved in that from.
Well, I mean, the parks guy, as far as they're gonna be doing all this work for
We
costs
would
and
need
everything.
to, if it has shown that we can do this, then we'll need to talk about the rest of what needs to be done, like the windows and the doors and sealing the sucker down, so. What that's gonna look like, I really don't know, I mean, there might be some easy fixes to that, I really don't know, the answer to that question. What it might do to the inside of the community hall for people to use it could matter.
So, in what regard?
Like people use it for weddings. So if we have to put a lot of black and new stuff and a lot of ceiling, if it could be drawn back or, you know, you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like,
I thought you meant that the screen would somehow impede
no,
it.
I don't think you guys plan the screen to do any kind of impact in it.
No, the screen would be a pull down situation and it would be completely out of the way unless it was in use.
Exactly.
And then was the idea for the city to purchase a projector or to use with that?
No, I would donate the projector.
Oh, okay,
We
you
would
donate the
make purchase
projector.
an upper machine, cause I don't wanna do microwave popcorn
Uh-huh.
if it's still available.
Yes, it's like sitting at the top of my stairs, I just need to get somebody to load it in my van and confirm they you still wanna buy it.
Well.
Let's check about maintenance and is it in great shape and
Well, would that projector be able to be utilized by the public, or would it just be like if somebody rented the
Oh.
community center, could they rent or, use the projector and the screen?
Well, the person that donated can kind of set the conditions on it, to some extent.
The problem with just handing it over to somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing and doesn't care long-term about the equipment is frying it.
Exactly,
So there has to be proper cool down period, there's steps that you have to go through.
yeah,
And then, but back to something you said earlier, and I need to walk out of here in just a couple of minutes, I've got an appointment at 1:15. Running the projector, these are digital projectors. Basically, there's no such thing as a projectionist anywhere anymore. We're all button pushers, you push a button and it starts up.
Good to know.
So,
I wasn't sure.
but I just meant in that regard that, which I'm not
I would
advocating
say
for
so.
either, I don't really care honestly about any of it. I think if we do a movies in the park or movies in the thing, I think that's a great idea, I don't really have an opinion either way on how we get to that, to that event. But if we just have a donated projector that only the city or we can use for a specific event like movies in the park, that's not something that the public can utilize if they rent that. But if we had a TV installed, that's something that has multiple uses that, you can just hand a remote to anybody and they can know how to use that versus the projector, then what's the point in retrofitting the entire community hall just for a couple events?
Right.
well, I think the plan was movies in the park in summertime, and then in the winter time, we would have the option of doing movies at the community hall and including also, because movies in the park obviously would be family-friendly events. But if we were set up in the community hall, we could also bring in old classic films that would really appeal, I would hope, to our aging community members, like myself.
there's almost nothing you can't get on DVD.
Pardon me?
You can get all those movies on DVD as well.
Well, yeah, that's what they'd be projected from,
Then
but you'd have to pay licensing through Swank to be able to project from
Right.
your
No,
own
no, I agree.
privately owned DVD.
I agree with you,
Okay.
what I'm saying is, like Zoe said, you do the same thing with a TV.
I just think that the appeal
Maintenance.
for a movies in the, a community movie watching event, if it's in the park, you
Yep.
can bring a blanket, you picnic, you're outside.
Right.
It's, it's something that you can achieve at your own home versus just going into the community center to watch a movie with a bunch of other people
Right,
in a stuffy room. It doesn't, it's like going to
How
school
many
and
people
watching a
showed-
report on a,
Share with shares.
yeah, I mean, how many people showed up for our Christmas event? Not that many,
What Christmas is
the
it?
Christmas lighting,
Oh, we had more this year
I
than we
was
did
here.
last year. I know you
it
were,
was still,
but I saw, and I know we had more this year than we did last year.
So that's an outside event.
Last
How
year-
many people came to the potluck thing at the
Oh, that
community
was,
center?
that was bad.
Was that
oh,
packed?
it's free food.
Yeah.
I need to walk out the door,
Alright.
catch up with you guys later, let me know what you decide.
I think that
Well, we
have a-
decided, right, we were gonna
Oh,
have
you
it,
guys don't have a vote yet.
oh, I
So,
said,
so that's when you guy in touch with,
So we have, pardon me, you have a motion, you have a second, now you need the chair to call a vote.
oh, yes.
You wanna do it by name or just all in
Just
favor?
all in favor?
All in
And
favor?
we, excuse me, we're voting on whether
Just
or
senior
not
guy.
I get my tech over here
Yes.
to assess the situation.
correct.
That's it,
That's
that's
it.
okay,
Right now, right.
okay.
All in favor?
I
All opposed? All who don't care?
Do what?
No, nothing.
You said, I missed what you
That's
said.
all that don't care.
That's on recording, so I'll get you. Meaning, he doesn't mean he doesn't care about them, he doesn't care about how we do it.
Bye, Loretta.
Bye. Right, bye, is that what, I'm assuming you mean you don't care about how it's done?
I just let the guy come here and do his thing, and I'm more concerned about the costs and everything else, and
well, it's just an assessment, it's
Right.
not, we're not committing to anything, it's just
Exactly.
what we've been talking about since
Exactly.
November.
All right, moving on to new business.
Well, since I've been here.
New business, it's, we have none. Any public comment? Seeing none. Any, feedback or chatter from the fellow commissioners? We have none. All right, I'm calling this meeting adjourned at 1:10.
Thank you,
And volume off.
bye Gina.
Bye.
Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.